Hello. Across Central Europe, a big area of high pressure on Tuesday will mean a lot of fine weather and sunshine. Around that high, though, it's a considerably livelier story. This area of low pressure pushing in from the Atlantic will bring some very wet conditions, particularly into Iberia. And it kind of links up with this low, tracking up into Scandinavia on Tuesday. Wet and windy for Scandinavia, and then this trailing weather front is going to have another lease of life through the middle of the week. It does, though, look like it's gradually going to clear up further east, an area of low pressure pulling away from Eastern Europe, leaving some showers back, though, across northern and eastern Turkey on Tuesday, perhaps the odd one for Cyprus as well. But sunshine for Italy, for the Balkans, for Sardinia, for Corsica. Showers pretty relentless across western Portugal, and some heavier downpours drifting further east into Spain. Escaping with just, I think, some relatively lightish showery rain across the Low Countries on Tuesday, looking much wetter here on Wednesday. Thundery downpours surging up from the Alps, stretching all the way across into western Poland. Still looking pretty wet across Portugal at this stage in the week as well. But high pressure building in from the Atlantic will see Western Europe becoming drier and more settled as the week plays out. Further east, after some initial warmth, though, showers starting to spread into Hungary and Romania. Hello. In recent days, it's very much been about the heat across the western US. The temperatures are now easing back. We saw the remnants of Hurricane K push into Southern California, introducing rainfall here, helping to cool things. And now, as an area of low pressure, quite a lot of destabilization in the atmosphere across the western side of the US. We could see some very intense thunderstorms here in the next 48 hours. This area of low pressure going northeastwards will produce some heavy rain, tending to clear through the eastern coast of the US on Tuesday. It looks like the Canadian Maritimes, though, once again will be in for a spell of windy weather and some quite heavy downpours. To the west for British Columbia, some showers spreading in through Tuesday, and we'll see, as I said, some heavier thundery downpours across Utah all the way down into Nevada and New Mexico, tending to stay somewhat clearer across the coast of California, but we could even see some rain in Death Valley on Tuesday. Looking to the east coast, tending to clear for New York and Washington, but some heavy and at times potentially thundery rain pushing towards Montreal. We'll see the rain pulling away from the Great Lakes, though, through the course of Tuesday, but the front continues to tail back into southern Florida, so wet all the way down into the Keys. There's Montreal and New York, both looking much clearer by Wednesday. Hello. Rather a lot of wet weather around in the next 48 hours for southern Brazil and Paraguay, all courtesy of the tail end of a weather front. To the north of the front, temperatures a few degrees above average for the time of year. To the south, it's somewhat on the cooler side, but I think a lot of sunshine to compensate quite widely across the River Plate region. But further frontal systems pushing into southern Chile. Often windy here, wet as well, and cloudy for Valdivia, even if we don't get much in the way of heavy rain here. Showers across Venezuela and Colombia. A lot of sunshine through much of the Amazon basin, however, and through to the east coast of Brazil. I think though Rio will see some of the rainfall pushing up from the south Tuesday onwards, whereas Florianopolis will tend to clear. There are those wetter conditions running across southern Chile and into southernmost Argentina. For Ascension, temperatures, though, perhaps in excess of 30 degrees as we go through the next 5 days. A much wetter story for Rio through Thursday and Friday. Across Central America, plenty of showers on Tuesday through central and southern Mexico, all the way into Belize and down into Costa Rica and Panama, quite widely spread out across the Caribbean as well. And it's anticipated that these showers adjacent to the Gulf of Mexico stay pretty heavy and persistent in the days ahead. So showers in our outlook for Havana, for Kingston, San Salvador and San Jose. Hello. It's a fairly quiet weather picture across Africa and the Middle East at the moment. Some pulses of heavier rain running across the equatorial belt through to the Gulf of Guinea in the next 48 hours. We could see a few showers into the far northwest, courtesy of an area of low pressure pushing in from the Atlantic further north towards Iberia. But I think South Africa, largely fine as the weather front pulls away eastwards. In fact, if anything, we're going to start to pick up northerly winds again here as the week goes on, and that will see the temperatures lifting in many areas. For Cape Town, potentially up to 26 degrees on Wednesday, but you can see that picture is set to change as we look towards the weekend. Sunshine for Durban and for Lusaka, sunny spells in Dar es Salaam. A little bit more cloud to the northwest, as you saw that low pressure already feeding some cloud into northern Morocco, and that will tend to linger through the week. Across the Middle East, a fine story, plenty of heat, plenty of sunshine. But for Yemen, there is the potential for some showers to develop, and they will be fairly isolated, but where they do develop, they are likely to be very powerful and thundery. For Oman, this flow of air off the Arabian Sea pushes a lot of moisture into coastal reaches. That means it will be pretty cloudy along the length of the coasts, misty and murky, and we'll see some drizzly outbreaks of rain here too. Hello, looking at our latest Indian satellite picture, you can see big masses of cloud to the north of the Arabian Sea, across central India, and also to the north of the Bay of Bengal. We've seen some circulations developing here. What does that mean? Well, essentially it means we're going to pull in some fairly relentless rainfall in the days ahead. Looking very wet for Bangladesh, rain as far north as Bhutan, extending across Nepal, and then really from West Bengal all the way through into Gujarat, as far south as Konkan and Goa. We're anticipating some high rainfall totals through the early part of this week. In contrast, much clearer under an area of high pressure further north across Kazakhstan. In some spots, temperatures a little below average though, because we've got easterly winds around the southern flank of that high. A few showers possible across the Hindu Kush. We make our way south through that area of heavier rain, and then actually for southernmost India, for the Maldives and Sri Lanka, I think in contrast it will be a little bit drier than we'd anticipate at this point in the monsoon, mostly because of all the energy in the atmosphere producing that rainfall further north. For Ashgabat, temperatures building into Wednesday up to 36 degrees. We'll also see temperatures pushing up for Tashkent. Rain coming down though for Kathmandu, for Dhaka, and we will continue to see some occasional showers in Colombo. Hello. Typhoon Marifa is the one to watch in the days ahead in the Pacific. At the moment, it sits just to the northeast of Taiwan. It's forecast to track northwards close to the coast of eastern China, making landfall just to the north of Shanghai in eastern Shandong on Thursday. That forecast could be subject to some change, but what we're looking pretty confidently at the moment is very heavy rain ahead of that system across eastern China, thanks to very wet easterly winds. Quite a lot of showers also for southern Japan. We've got more heavy rain to come for Myanmar, for southern Thailand, all the way down into Singapore, Borneo and Brunei in the days ahead too. Heatwave conditions persisting across Mongolia. By the time we get to the end of the week though, as weather front comes through, we'll see the temperatures changing quite dramatically, about 20 degrees down in fact by the time we get to Saturday. Quite a deep area of low pressure dominating the Australian bight through this week. Strong winds here, rain pushing into the southeast of Australia through the course of Wednesday and Thursday. For New Zealand, a rather wet story on and off through the week for the North Island. Some significant rainfall totals forecast here. A rather more wintry picture further south, but it does look a little drier and clearer, at least for the South Island by Wednesday.